He should have stayed silent. Brenda's voice was steady. Too steady for a woman standing at a cliff's edge with murder in her hands. The wind screamed over the precipice. Afternoon light cast long shadows, revealing two women. One desperate to expose a killer. One desperate to silence the only witness forever. Johanna Thompson's voice trembled. My son deserves to know what really happened to Sarah. What you did to her. Brenda stepped closer, her burgundy suit sharp against the wild landscape, blocking any path to safety. Your son, Philip, will never believe you. By tomorrow he'll be planning your funeral. Poor Johanna, so heartbroken over losing Sarah she just couldn't go on. Her smile was ice. Now say goodbye. She raised both hands and pushed. Johanna's scream ripped through the air as her wheelchair plunged backward into the abyss. Metal scraped against rock, once, twice, before the ravine swallowed her whole. Brenda stared into the darkness below. No movement, no sound. Perfect. She walked to her car, slid behind the wheel, and checked the mirror. Her reflection stared back, calm, composed, victorious. She smoothed her hair, practiced her expression of shock. Time to go home and tell her husband his mother just had a terrible accident. Hello, friends, and welcome to the most twisted mother-in-law story you'll hear this year. Before we go on, kindly hit that subscribe button and tell us where you are watching from in the comments right now. New York? Johannesburg? London? Toronto? Because what you're about to witness will have you questioning everyone who sits at your family table. St. Michael's Hospital, a place where people come to be healed, where doctors take oaths to do no harm, where nurses are supposed to be angels of mercy. But what happens when the person wearing scrubs is the one bringing death? In the heart of this hospital, a young woman named Sarah Thompson collapsed and died mysteriously. The doctors called it heart failure. Natural causes. A tragic loss. But Johanna Thompson, Sarah's mother-in-law, never believed it. Her spirit wouldn't settle. Something was wrong. Terribly, horrifically wrong. And she was right. The truth was darker than anyone imagined. Brenda Carlisle wasn't just Sarah's nurse. She wasn't just her old college friend. She was a woman consumed by obsession, obsessed with Sarah's perfect life, her loving husband, her beautiful children. Obsessed enough to kill for it. Patient, calculating, ruthless. Brenda poisoned Sarah in that hospital room, then waited 2 years before sliding into the grieving family like a savior, replacing everything Sarah once was. When Johanna discovered medical records that proved Sarah was murdered, Brenda had only one option left: eliminate the threat. That's why Johanna is falling off a cliff in her wheelchair. But what really happened? Did she survive the fall? Was Brenda exposed? Let's find out. Ensure to subscribe. It will help our growth. Now, let's see what really happened. St. Catherine's neighborhood, a place where magnolia trees bloom in spring and children ride bikes until the streetlights come on. On Bennett Avenue, there's a cream-colored house with forest green shutters. The front porch has rocking chairs. Wind chimes sing in the breeze. This is Johanna Thompson's house. And on this particular Sunday morning, it's full of life. The kitchen smells like heaven on earth. Pot roast, slow cooking with carrots and potatoes. Fresh bread cooling on wire racks. Apple pie waiting on the counter. Cinnamon and sugar crystals sparkling on the crust. Johanna Thompson stands at the counter, arranging flowers in a vase. She's 62 years old. Silver hair cut in a soft bob. Reading glasses perched on her nose. She wears a lavender cardigan over her Sunday dress. Her hands move with the confidence of someone who's done this 1,000 times. Because she has. Every Sunday for 30 years. Same routine. Same love poured into every detail. The front door flies open. Small feet thunder down the hallway. Grandma, Grandma, we're here. 7-year-old Lila bursts into the kitchen, her Sunday dress a blur of pink and white. Her natural hair is pulled into 2 puffs with ribbons. Her smile shows the gap where her front tooth used to be. Baby girl. Johanna opens her arms wide. Lila crashes into her like a tiny hurricane. Johanna lifts her up, her knees protesting but her heart soaring. 5-year-old Jamal waddles in next. He's wearing a miniature suit that makes him look like a tiny businessman. He's clutching a toy car in one hand. Grandma, look. Daddy got me a new race car. Did he now? Johanna bends down, her knees creaking. That's a beautiful car, sweetheart. Jamal zooms it across the kitchen floor. Vroom vroom. It goes super fast. A woman's voice floats in from the doorway. Warm, musical, full of light. Mama Joe, I made your favorite lemon bars. Extra powdered sugar, just how you like them. Sarah Thompson appears in the doorway. 31 years, old and glowing. Her church hat sits perfectly on her head, cream with a delicate flower. Her dress matches. She's carrying a covered dish. Johanna's eyes get misty. They always do when she looks at Sarah. Because Sarah isn't just her daughter-in-law. Sarah is her daughter, her friend. The daughter God blessed her with when she thought she'd never have one. Come here, baby. Sarah sets down the lemon bars and walks into Johanna's arms. They hold each other. Not a quick hug. A real one. The kind that says I love you without needing words. Philip Thompson walks in last. 34 years old. Tall. Strong. His father's gentle eyes. He's carrying a watermelon under one arm. Mama. He kisses Johanna's cheek. House smells amazing. That's because love lives here, Sarah says, winking at the kids. They all gather around the dining room table. The oak table that's been in Johanna's family for 3 generations. The table that's witnessed births and deaths and every moment in between. They hold hands. Johanna at the head, Philip to her right, Sarah to her left. Lila and Jamal swinging their legs, barely containing their excitement. Lord, Johanna begins, her voice steady and full. We thank you for this food. We thank you for this family. We thank you for one more Sunday together. Because we know, Lord, that nothing is promised. Not tomorrow, not the next hour, not even the next breath. So we treasure this moment, this meal, these beautiful faces around this table. In Jesus' name, amen, Jamal shouts before she finishes. Everyone laughs. This is happiness. Pure, complete, unbreakable. The kind of happiness that makes you forget darkness exists at all. If you could capture this moment, the laughter, the warmth, the love, you'd have heaven in a bottle. But happiness is fragile. It's glass, beautiful, precious, easy to shatter. And in 3 days, this family's happiness would shatter into 1,000 pieces. None of them knew it yet, but this would be the last Sunday they'd all be together. The last time they'd hold hands around this table as a complete family. Because something was already wrong with Sarah. Something deadly. Something planted by a woman in scrubs who smiled while she murdered. And that same woman would soon come for the only person who suspected the truth. She'd come for Johanna. 3 days after that perfect Sunday, Johanna's phone rang at 6 a.m. It was Philip. His voice shook. Mama, something's wrong with Sarah. She collapsed in the bathroom. We're at St. Michael's. Johanna threw on clothes and drove through empty streets, praying the whole way. When she arrived, Philip stood in the hallway outside the emergency room, his face gray with fear. They're running tests. She's been feeling tired for weeks. Dizzy. But I thought it was just stress from work. Hours crawled by. Doctors used words they didn't understand. Cardiac irregularity. Unexplained arrhythmia. Severe electrolyte imbalance. Around noon, a nurse appeared. Young. Beautiful. Dark hair pulled into a neat bun. Her badge read, Brenda Carlisle, RN. I'll be taking care of Mrs. Thompson today, she said with a warm smile. Don't worry. She's in good hands. Something about that smile made Johanna's stomach tighten. But she pushed it away. Nurses were supposed to be compassionate, caring. Brenda brought updates every hour. Always smiling. Always reassuring. She's stable. Resting. The medication is working. But when Johanna finally saw Sarah through the window, her daughter-in-law looked worse. Pale. Weak. Struggling to breathe. "Can we go in?" Johanna asked. "Not yet," Brenda said gently. "She needs rest. But I promise I'm watching her closely, like she's my own family." That night, they sent Sarah home with medications and instructions to follow up in a week. Johanna wanted to feel relieved, but that cold feeling in her chest wouldn't leave. 3 days later, Sarah collapsed again. The ambulance arrived at 2 a.m. This time, Sarah didn't wake up in the emergency room. This time, the machines screamed different warnings. Johanna and Philip sat in plastic chairs outside the ICU, watching doctors run, watching nurses move with urgent precision, watching their world end in slow motion. At 3:47 a.m., a doctor emerged. His face said everything before his mouth opened. "I'm so sorry. We did everything we could." Her heart just stopped. The damage was too severe. Philip made a sound that wasn't human, a wail that came from somewhere deep and primal. He collapsed against Johanna, and she held him while he shattered into a million pieces. Through her own tears, Johanna looked up, saw Brenda standing by the nurse's station, watching them. And for just a flash, less than a second, Johanna saw something on Brenda's face. Not sadness, not sympathy, something else. Something that looked almost like satisfaction. Then it vanished. Brenda's face morphed into professional grief. She looked down at her clipboard and walked away. Johanna's blood went cold. The funeral was held 4 days later. 300 people came. Pastor Williams spoke about heaven and God's plan. Lila asked when Mommy was coming back. Jamal played with Johanna's necklace, too young to understand forever. Philip stood at the graveside like a statue, empty, hollowed out. After they lowered the casket, people brought casseroles and Bible verses. But Philip didn't want food, didn't want scripture. He wanted his wife. The first month, he tried to keep going. Work, kids, life. But Johanna watched the light die in his eyes. By the 6th month, Philip had stopped living. He was just existing. A ghost haunting his own house. Johanna moved in. Someone had to raise these babies. Someone had to keep the family from completely falling apart. But every night she prayed the same prayer. "Lord, bring my son back to me." She had no idea that prayer would be answered, just not the way she expected. 2 years and 3 days after Sarah died, someone knocked on Johanna's door on a Sunday morning. When she opened it, her breath caught. Brenda Carlisle stood there in a yellow sundress, holding bags of food, smiling like sunshine itself. Before Johanna could speak, Lila and Jamal came running. "Auntie Brenda." They threw their arms around her. "I missed you guys so much," Brenda laughed, hugging them back. "I've been thinking about you every single day." Marcus appeared from the living room in sweatpants and an old t-shirt. "Brenda." "Hi, Philip." Her voice went soft, gentle. "I'm sorry I stayed away so long. Work has been crazy, but I couldn't stay away anymore. I had to make sure you were all okay." "I brought food," Brenda continued. "I made Sarah's potato salad, the way she taught me, with extra pickles." At Sarah's name, Philip's eyes filled with tears. "She used to make that," he whispered. "I know, honey. I know." Johanna watched this exchange, that warning voice whispering in her spirit again. But then Lila grabbed her hand. "Grandma, can Auntie Brenda stay for lunch? Please." Johanna looked at her granddaughter's hopeful face, at Jamal's excited eyes, at Philip's expression, the first hint of something other than emptiness she'd seen in 2 years. "Of course she can stay." Brenda's smile grew wider. They ate together. Brenda knew where everything was. The plates. The silverware. Like she'd been there before. Sarah showed me, Brenda explained. When we were in college, she brought me home one Thanksgiving. This house taught me what family means. After lunch, Brenda helped clean up without being asked. She rolled up her sleeves and washed dishes. Put everything back in the right place. You have a good memory, Johanna said carefully. Sarah was my best friend. Actual tears filled Brenda's eyes. When she died, I felt like I lost my sister. Staying away was easier than facing the pain. But that was wrong. You're my family too. Johanna felt guilty for her suspicions. This poor girl lost her best friend. Over Brenda's shoulder, Johanna saw Philip watching. And for the first time in 2 years, there was something in his eyes besides emptiness. Something dangerous. Hope. Brenda started coming every week. Then twice a week. Then nearly every day. She brought groceries. Helped with homework. Read bedtime stories. Made Philip laugh for the first time since the funeral. 6 months in, Johanna found them on the porch one evening. Sitting close. Brenda's hand on Philip's arm. Their faces inches apart. You're going to be okay, Brenda whispered. I promise. Philip leaned into her touch like a drowning man grabbing a rope. 8 months later, Philip told Johanna he'd asked Brenda to marry him. Mama, I know it's fast, but she makes me feel alive again. The kids love her, and Sarah would want me to be happy, right? Johanna's mouth opened, closed. That voice in her spirit screamed. But Philip looked so hopeful, so alive. If she makes you happy, baby, then I'm happy. The lie tasted like poison. The wedding was small. Courthouse ceremony. Lila and Jamal as witnesses. They moved into Philip's house, Sarah's house, the next day. Within weeks, everything changed. Brenda redecorated. Sarah's photos came down. Her clothes disappeared. Her recipes vanished from the kitchen. It's not healthy for Philip to live in a shrine, Brenda explained sweetly when Johanna questioned her. He needs to move forward. Brenda took over everything. The kids' schedules. The household finances. Philip's calendar. I'm just trying to help, she'd say. Take the burden off his shoulders. But Johanna noticed Philip couldn't make decisions anymore without asking Brenda first. Couldn't see friends without her approval. Couldn't even talk to his own mother without Brenda listening. One Sunday, Johanna invited them for dinner. Philip checked his phone. Brenda says we can't. She planned something else. Since when do you need permission to see your mother? Philip's face went blank. It's not permission, Mama. It's consideration. Something you don't seem to understand. Those weren't his words. They were hers, spoken through his mouth. Johanna watched her son disappear into his wife. And she realized too late, Brenda hadn't saved Philip from grief. She'd imprisoned him in it. By their first anniversary, Brenda controlled everything. The bank accounts were in her name now. Just easier this way, she'd explained. Philip signed the papers without reading them. She convinced Philip to update his will. We're married now. I should be the beneficiary. It's what spouses do. The kids called her Mom now. Not Mommy. That was reserved for Sarah in whispered memories they were afraid to speak out loud. Johanna tried to visit. Brenda was always there. Always pleasant. Always in the way. Philip's resting. The kids have homework. Maybe next week would be better. When Johanna finally got Philip alone at the grocery store, she grabbed his arm. Baby, something's wrong. You don't see it? She's controlling you. Isolating you. Philip pulled away. Mama, stop. Brenda loves me. She saved me. Why can't you just be happy for us? Because that woman isn't who she says she is. Enough. Philip's voice rose. People stared. I'm done with this. Brenda warned me you'd do this. Said you can't let go of Sarah. Can't accept that I've moved on. She warned you? Philip, listen to yourself. But he walked away, left her standing there with half-empty shopping cart and a heart full of dread. That night, Johanna knelt in her prayer closet. Lord, my son is in danger. I don't know how I know, but I do. Show me the truth, please. 3 days later, the truth found her. Johanna was cleaning out old papers when she found Sarah's death certificate. Something nagged at her. She pulled out her laptop and searched. Sudden cardiac death, young women. Article after article mentioned toxicology, poison, undetected substances. Her hands shook as she called St. Michael's Hospital. I need to request my daughter-in-law's medical records. Sarah Thompson. Died 2 years ago. The woman on the phone paused. Let me transfer you to records. It took 3 weeks. But finally, a thick envelope arrived. Johanna spread the pages across her kitchen table. She didn't understand all the medical terminology. But one thing jumped out. Recommended. Full toxicology screen. Status. Declined. Declined. By who? She kept reading. Found the nursing notes from Sarah's final night. All signed by Brenda Carlisle. Every single one. Johanna drove to St. Michael's the next morning. She found Dr. Phillips in his office. Dr. Phillips, I need to ask you about my daughter-in-law's death. Sarah Thompson. He frowned. Mrs. Thompson, that was 2 years ago. I'm not sure what. Was a full autopsy done? No. The family declined. Said it was against their beliefs. We never declined anything. Dr. Phillips pulled up records on his computer. His face changed. According to this, the next of kin, her husband, signed a form declining further investigation. Philip never signed anything. Show me. He turned the screen. There was Philip's signature. But Johanna knew her son's handwriting. This wasn't it. Someone forged this, she whispered. Dr. Phillips looked uncomfortable. Mrs. Thompson, these are serious accusations. I'm not accusing. I'm investigating. Can you exhume the body? Run tests now. After 2 years, the evidence would be. Please. Someone murdered my daughter-in-law, and I think she's living in my son's house. Dr. Phillips studied her face, saw the desperation, the certainty. Let me make some calls. 3 days later, Johanna got a voicemail. Mrs. Thompson, this is Dr. Phillips. Don't discuss this with anyone, but you were right. Call me immediately. Her hands shook as she dialed. The tissue samples we had stored showed traces of potassium chloride, he said quietly. Enough to cause cardiac arrest. Undetectable unless you specifically test for it. Mrs. Thompson, your daughter-in-law was murdered. Johanna couldn't breathe. Can you testify? To the police. The samples are being sent to the state lab for confirmation. But Mrs. Thompson, be careful. If someone did this. I will. Thank you. She hung up and immediately called Philip. Baby, I need you to come to my house. Alone. Right now. It's about Sarah. Mama, I'm busy. Philip Marcus Thompson, your wife was murdered. I have proof. Come now. 30 minutes later, Philip arrived. But he wasn't alone. Brenda walked in beside him, her hand possessively on his arm. Mama, Philip said coldly, whatever you have to say, you can say in front of my wife. Johanna's heart sank. But she had to try. Sarah was poisoned. Dr. Phillips found potassium chloride in her system. Someone injected her. Someone who had access. Stop. Brenda's voice cut through. Mrs. Thompson, I understand grief does strange things. But accusing people of murder? That's beyond. I'm not accusing people. I'm accusing you. Brenda's face shifted. For just a second, the mask slipped. Johanna saw a cold calculation. Pure malice. Then it was back. Tears filled Brenda's eyes. Philip, I can't listen to this. Your mother needs help. Professional help. Philip put his arm around Brenda. Mama, this is insane. Brenda loved Sarah. You're inventing conspiracies because you can't accept that I've moved on. I have documents. Medical records. No. Philip's voice was ice. You have paranoia and bitterness. We're leaving. And don't contact us again until you're ready to apologize. They walked out. Johanna stood frozen. She just made everything worse. That night, her house was broken into. Only one thing was stolen: the medical records. 2 days later, Brenda called. Mrs. Thompson? It's Brenda. I feel terrible about what happened. Can we talk? Please? I think we got off on the wrong foot. Johanna was suspicious. But maybe. Where? There's a beautiful spot I've been wanting to show you. Cliffside overlook. Very peaceful. Good place to clear the air. Every instinct screamed no. But Johanna needed answers. All right. I'll pick you up in an hour. You're still using the wheelchair sometimes, right? I'll help. Johanna hesitated. Her knee surgery last month made stairs difficult. But how did Brenda know about the wheelchair? Yes. I'll be ready. Cliffside Overlook was 40 minutes outside town. Beautiful. Remote. No other cars in the parking lot. Brenda helped Johanna into the wheelchair, smiling. Let's go to the edge. The view is breathtaking. They rolled across rocky ground. Closer to the edge. Closer to the drop. Johanna's heart pounded. Brenda, this is close enough. You know, Mrs. Thompson, Brenda's voice changed. You should have kept your mouth shut. Johanna's blood froze. Brenda walked around to face her, blocking any escape. Her smile was ice now. Pure evil. Did you really think I'd let you ruin everything I built? Sarah had the perfect life. Perfect husband. Perfect kids. Perfect house. And she didn't even appreciate it. So I took it. Simple as that. You killed her. I freed Philip from her. And I would have given him a beautiful life. But you couldn't let it go, could you? Johanna tried to will backward. Brenda's foot stopped the chair. Philip will never believe. Philip will believe exactly what I tell him. Poor Johanna, so depressed, so unstable. She came here, and well, tragic accidents happen. You won't get away with this. I already have. Brenda raised both hands and pushed. Johanna's scream tore through the air as the wheelchair plunged over the edge. Metal screamed against rock. Once. Twice. Then darkness swallowed her whole. Brenda peered over. Saw the wheelchair wedged between rocks far below. Saw Johanna's body motionless. Perfect. She walked to her car, checked her reflection, practiced her shocked expression. Time to tell Philip his mother was gone. But Brenda made one mistake. She didn't check closely enough. Because 20 feet down, caught on an outcropping, Johanna opened her eyes. Johanna woke up in her sister Lucille's cottage 3 days later. Every bone ached. Her left arm was broken, ribs cracked, but alive. You fell on a ledge, Lucille whispered. Hikers found you. Called me instead of the ambulance because your phone's emergency contact was me. Thank God. Don't tell anyone I survived. Johanna gasped. She'll come back to finish it. Who? Brenda. She pushed me. She killed Sarah. And she'll kill Philip next. Lucille's face went pale. What do you need? Lila. Bring me Lila. 3 days later, Lucille smuggled Lila to the cottage after school. The little girl gasped when she saw her grandmother. Grandma, everyone thinks you're dead. I know, baby. But I need your help. Can you be brave for me? Lila nodded, tears streaming. Does your new mom ever give your daddy special drinks? Medicine? Anything he takes just from her? Lila's eyes widened. Yes. Every night. A vitamin drink. She says it helps him sleep. Johanna's blood ran cold. Lila, I need you to record her making that drink. Can you do that? With your tablet? And don't let her see you. For 2 weeks, Lila became a tiny spy. She recorded Brenda in the kitchen. Recorded her adding powder to Philip's drinks. Recorded her hiding bottles under the sink. Then one night, Lila's tablet caught everything. Brenda on the phone. He's getting too weak to notice anymore. Another month, maybe two, and it'll look like grief finally killed him. Then everything is mine. The house, the money, the kids. Lila emailed the video to Lucille. The next morning, Lucille drove straight to the police station, showed the footage to Detectives Reyes and Finch. That's Brenda Thompson poisoning her husband, Detective Reyes breathed, and discussing premeditated murder. There's more, Lucille said. She pushed Johanna Thompson off a cliff 2 weeks ago. Everyone thinks she's dead, but she survived. She's been hiding. Where is she now? Somewhere safe. But we need to move before Brenda succeeds in killing Philip. That afternoon, Detectives Reyes and Finch arrived at Philip's house with a warrant. Brenda answered the door, smiling. Officers? What's this about? Brenda Carlisle Thompson, you're under arrest for the attempted murder of Philip Thompson and the murder of Sarah Thompson. Her face went white. That's insane. I don't. We have video evidence. We have medical records. And we have a witness who survived your attempt on her life. What witness? Johanna's dead. Brenda stopped. Realized her mistake. Detective Finch smiled grimly. You just confessed to knowing about Johanna's accident. Funny, since it was never reported. They cuffed her as Philip stumbled into the hallway, confused. What's happening? Brenda, what are they talking about? Brenda's mask finally shattered. Her face twisted into something monstrous. You stupid man. I gave you everything. I made you whole again. And you can't even see it. The truth hit Philip like a freight train. His knees buckled. 2 months later, Philip sat in Johanna's kitchen. She'd come home from Lucille's last week, still healing but alive. I'm so sorry, Mama, he whispered for the 100th time. I let her in. I believed her. I almost lost you. But you didn't. I'm here. We're all here. Lila and Jamal played in the next room, their laughter medicine for everyone's broken hearts. Brenda's trial starts next month, Philip said quietly. They charged her with first-degree murder for Sarah. Attempted murder for you. Attempted murder for me. Good. I can't believe I married my wife's killer. I brought evil into our home. You brought in someone wearing a mask, Johanna corrected. You couldn't have known. None of us could. But Johanna had known. Deep down, her spirit tried to warn her. She just ignored it too long. How do we move forward from this? Philip asked. One day at a time. One prayer at a time. One truth at a time. Outside, the sun set over the garden where Johanna's roses still bloomed. Pink ones. Red ones. Yellow ones that smelled like hope. Evil had come close. So close it had pushed her off a cliff. But evil didn't win. Because sometimes the survivors fight back. Sometimes grandmothers refuse to die with the truth. And sometimes love is stronger than poison. You never truly know who you welcome into your home. That friendly neighbor. That helpful coworker. That person who shows up right when you're most vulnerable. Sometimes they're angels. Sometimes they're demons wearing angel faces. Brenda Carlisle almost destroyed an entire family. She murdered a mother, tried to murder a grandmother, nearly killed a father, almost orphaned 2 children. But Johanna Thompson survived, and her survival saved everyone. So watch who you let in. Trust your instincts. Listen to that voice in your spirit that whispers warnings. Because evil doesn't always look evil. Sometimes it looks like help, like kindness, like answered prayers. But I promise you this, evil never wins. Not when survivors learn to fight back. If this story gripped you, hit that subscribe button right now. Drop a comment telling me which part shocked you most. And remember, the truth always rises, even from the bottom of a cliff. Until next time, stay safe, stay aware, and never ignore your instincts.